up, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Yeah, Corey, you made me laugh.
I'm like shocked. I'm like, oh my god, he's going higher.
I had it. I
higher.
almost had it, and then
We're
wait,
not
keep
keeping
it.
it. There's
Keep it.
no way we're keeping
Absolutely keep it. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cultivate.
that. You can't just be so casual afterwards. Hey guys,
I'll give context. So there is
that
a
was
podcast
like take 10.
that me and Corey like, and the guy intros every time like that. But dude, he goes so high, and I tried like 4 times.
Yeah, you tried.
I'm out of breath. Hey guys, welcome to Cultivate and Keep. We're keeping that, man.
For the 20th time. Okay, we're keeping it. We're just rolling.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm chilling. I'm just trying to get through this week. We're leaving on Saturday for the cruise, and then I'm going to do some like other work on the cruise, non-barometrics related, but you know, I've got Hey Marketers now. I've got a couple other sites trying to spin up. We've got our Manhood Essentials project we're working on. So, but I'm excited. You know, it won't be as intense because pretty much for the past since I launched Hey Marketers, actually, it's been like every night for at least a couple hours I'm working on it. I don't think I expected like how much work I was going to put into it, and it still feels like there's so much to do. So, long story short, I'm ready for a break.
Yeah, I feel you. I know I kind of like briefly announced it a few episodes ago, but we officially bought that business and it went through. So by the time this comes out, we'll be like a month in, I think.
It's crazy.
But yeah, July 1st, we officially like take over. I think we're probably going to announce it like mid-July because I need some time. Kind of like you're saying, like we've been moving all week, like moving all the new inventory to our new warehouse, and it's like insane, like the amount of work. I mean,
yeah.
Last few days I've been leaving the house at about 6:30 in the morning, getting home like close to 10 p.m. at night. It's just been nuts. So I'm pretty exhausted, and I feel like the amount of work that I anticipated, it's like triple that.
Yeah, always.
Like on like the business side and like the physical like moving side, everything just way more. So for all those reasons, I think we're gonna probably like officially announce like by like July 15th. So probably like when this comes out, close to that time maybe.
Yeah.
So,
I think this will be like the 20th or something like that. So it'll be just right after that. Yeah,
so we're super excited. Yeah, man. I'm doing really good. I feel like at the end of my rope, I feel tired.
Yeah.
I'm like getting sick, so I just need to.
You are sick.
I am sick.
You're one of those like.
Sick.
The deniers.
Yeah.
I'm not sick. I sniffles, dude. No, you're sick, bro. Yeah, that's cool though. I mean, so, are you going to like hire more people, or like what's going to like change for the business, or like at least I don't know the way that you operate. I don't know what's going to be different.
Good question. Well, I think first and foremost when it comes to like the business side, I think this is gonna like, I hope that it's gonna like elevate, I guess, our like clientele, kind of the type of customers that we take. I think it's gonna just like raise the level. By that I mean, you know, like when it comes to weddings, especially, like there are, you know, like more like budget friendly brides, and then there are as you move into like more and more higher end rentals, you know, people will spend like more and more on that type of stuff. And so I feel like with what we're gonna offer, we're gonna have an overall just better experience for the client, and I think it's going to put us more on that side of the higher end client when it comes to like their budget and whatnot. So that's exciting. I think that gives us, you know, because part of my goal is to hire someone full time to basically run like the day-to-day stuff of the business. Like there's a good portion of it that's just like physical labor when it comes, you know, prepping for the weekend and organizing stuff and keeping things clean. Like I want to hire someone basically to run all of that so I can focus more on like the business side, and then just down the road like hire more down the road start, you know, another business. And so I think us being bumped into like the higher end client will allow us to afford to hire someone full time. So I'm just excited, and I feel like even like our existing clients, like we're gonna be able to better serve them. So we have like more stuff to offer, and so it's exciting. It's a huge risk. I mean, I think I mentioned before, like, you know, we were saving to buy a home, and we keep like putting money back into the business, and so it's like it's kind of scary. Like it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of hard work, and like, you know, we're just putting a lot into it. So I feel confident. I feel that we've got good counsel, and we've taken good steps. So I feel comfortable. I just feel like it is a risk, and so but all in all, I'm super stoked, and I feel like this is going to get us where we want to be long term for the business. And
Mm.
so this is going to kind of put us in that position to hire someone full time. And you know, that's not the end goal. We want to, you know, grow the business. So the goal is to hire someone by the end of the year. So, but
Oh, really? End of this year?
Yeah. That's my goal.
Interesting.
I mean, I want to start. I have like some ideas. I feel like I know this is like silly because it's so soon. And this is actually probably
You
perfect
literally
for the episode.
Just bought a business.
But I mean, I've kind of
Another
said like
business.
after like 2 years, I want to move on to something new. Is kind of what I've been thinking. And when I say move on, like, well, I still want to own this business and I still want to be a part of it, but I want to like shift my time towards like something new. So yeah, I mean, I think this is the first big step. I also feel like this was hold me to this, but I think this is probably our last like major investment in this industry. I think I don't think I would be shocked if we decided to buy another one.
Yeah.
I don't want like this to be a massive company. I really don't. I don't think I do, but I want it to be sustainable. I want it to support our family, and I want this to basically fund other ideas and other projects, and fund us to live. Basically, it's kind of like my idea. So
I think that's perfectly reasonable. Something that's been more of a theme, like in sort of my, you know, space and sphere of software and stuff, is that there's a lot of what you would call like a boutique, you know, software company that's no like crazy plans to grow. Like it's literally like, this is a quote unquote lifestyle business. This is to fund other ideas. This is to be able to be more creative. This is to take, you know, risk off the table and be able to invest in other things. So I don't think that that's crazy at all.
Yeah, and so all to say, it's been really good. You know, but also like in the middle of this, we we are rebranding the business, our existing company at the same time. So we're changing the name, and just like the whole rebranding process is a ton of work. So like all that combined with like the physical side of like moving stuff and like the logistics of it, it's just like a ton of work.
Yeah.
But I'm like super grateful, and I don't know. I feel like every day more and more like this is what I was made to do. Like it just feels like so natural to be in this like element. So
yeah, it's cool.
I'm loving it, but I'm also needing
Ready
some
for a
rest.
break.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. So yeah, I mean that's kind of a quick update.
That's cool. Speaking of buying a house, I saw the other day on Twitter, it was sort of like this breakdown. I wish I could go find it, but basically I had like a map of the United States with each of the states, and it showed basically for each state, it showed the number of years that it would take to save up for a down payment for the median home price given the average salary across the state. And
what was it?
And sorry, they did it for each city too.
Okay.
For San Francisco, it was 40 years. For New York, I think it was 38 years. For LA, it was 35 years. San Diego was one of like the top 10, and it was 31 years.
So that means basically like starting from scratch, like zero savings.
Yeah, started like zero savings, and I think that the savings rate was like 5% a year or 10%.
How do they calculate that? It was basically like average salary, cost of living, and then
they take their
down?
average salary.
What was it exactly?
They take the average salary and then like 5% of that every year for the median average, or for the basically it's the median, but it's sort of like the average home price in that area. And then how long would it take if you're saving 5% of the average salary every year to get to a down payment?
And why
for that
5%?
house? I think that was like the normal kind of savings rate. So I think that most people are probably like they have to save more.
Yeah,
obviously.
if like someone wants to buy a home, like you have to save more.
Yeah, but I think that was also crazy. Like because there's advice out there like, I don't know, save 10%, tithe 10%, spend the rest. And if you followed that, that's kind of where it would get you. It's like 31 years later, you have a down payment, like not even, buying outright, but just a down payment for the median. Again, not like a really nice house. Anyways, I thought.
Well, I think it's funny, and we aren't even planning to talk about this, but maybe we will. But I think it's funny, like thinking about, it's not funny, but thinking about buying a home. Like, I was just talking with someone about this, like I think last weekend. But I was saying, like for me, like that was kind of what I always had my mindset on when I was younger, like in high school. Like, dude, I just want to go to college, graduate, advance in my career, save, buy a home, get married, like XYZ.
Yeah.
And I think way differently now. Like I don't know. I'm not sure why, but my thinking, well, I know why, but it's just changed. Like
Totally.
now my mindset is like we've talked about. I feel like I want to like focus on like building my wealth and like investing right now, like working to build that rather than, I just feel like you think of how long you think of your life savings, my life savings, like how long does that taken to like build that up? And if I put all that in a home right now, like, dude, like to recoup that, it was gonna take a while, And,
so long.
and I've just kind of felt like, why not use that money now towards like building more wealth? Like, why not use it and put it to work so it can build more money faster than a home would, So, and I know I'm 24, we're both young, so this could be silly, but that's kind of how my mindset has shifted, and I just feel like the more and more people that I speak to that I admire and look up to, that's the advice they give me. Like, invest your money now. Like, let it build wealth for you now.
Yeah. And I think a big part of that too is something that I've been thinking more about is how we always try to optimize for how much we save and like what expenses we can cut, or basically like just like how frugal can we be while still being like happy and like still living.
That's a really good point you bring up.
But like, why isn't anyone paying attention to optimizing for
growth?
Yeah, your revenue.
Well, you think
and
about
like, your income.
I remember I asked Chris George. We just interviewed him for an episode.
Yeah.
But I asked him like for basically ways to increase revenue in a business. I said, hey, like, is cutting costs like a good way to increase your revenue? And his response was, that's a loaded question, is kind of what he said, because you could cut so much. Like, there's so much you can do to kind of trim and save. But what he told me was like, why not focus all that effort and energy on like the growth side? Like, if you can, rather than cutting every expense, which I think is important to do, like, to some extent, but what about like you're saying, like to optimize growth? And I feel like that's probably sums up like my overall thinking right now, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Also wanted to say, like, kind of why I bring this up was I used to be with how my life looks now, and like our income would have made me like very uncomfortable like by 5 years ago. Because a lot of it is, I won't say risky. Like, I feel like we're making good choices, but
it varies, right?
Yeah, I mean, it just varies, and especially like going against my whole mantra of wanting to, buy a home and start investing in that. Like, I'm putting that off, So, but I just feel like through like educating myself and learning and talking with people, like this feels good now. This feels like what's right, and so I think it's funny how like our mindset can change,
Yeah, and just to get the terms clear, right? So when we in like a business setting, we would talk about revenue and expenses and cutting expenses to increase profit. Mm-hmm. For a personal, it would be optimizing your income, reducing your also your expenses, but to optimize for your savings. Mm-hmm. And so instead of like just taking a one-dimensional view of only cutting costs and only cutting expenses, or cutting the cable, turning off Netflix, like only eating or buying stuff from, I don't know, what's like the cheap place to buy stuff from, like Vons or something instead of Trader Joe's, but like also on the other side, you need to be increasing your income. And so yeah, anyways, it's just, but the whole buying a home thing, yeah, I don't know. I still don't, like literally every day I still like go back and forth.
Ponder
like,
it, yeah.
It's a good idea, it's a bad idea.
Well, I remember like
it's
a year
for me,
ago,
it's not for me.
When you came to me saying, I don't think I'm going to buy a house. Like you like, look at the study I found, whatever you said, like, they did some study over 20, 30 years. It costs more to, whatever your brainwash stuff you said.
Yeah.
But and I remember at first I was like, you're stupid. Like, in my head, I didn't think that, but I was like, hey, you're a little crazy. Like, you should buy a home. And I still like believe, like, I'm for sure I want to own a home, and probably multiple homes, like long term. But like, I think for right now where I'm at, I think I'm probably more on like your side now. Like, what, maybe this may not be the best time,
Yeah. Well, exactly. I think that's where I'm at now, is like not so black and white about like buying versus renting, but now, and sort of what Chris was saying too, I'm glad he mentioned that, but like thinking in terms of seasons of, yeah, I really want a house right now. I really want like a bigger place, mm-hmm. and I really would like to not spend money on just rent and mm-hmm. not seeing that, or like not letting that build into equity. But also, if I were to right now, it would hurt me maybe long term. Like it would maybe like feel better right now.
I think it would set you back. It seems like right. Yeah.
I mean, I think that it would. I think that there's a lot of opportunity costs there, right? Yeah, that you would miss out, or that money is now tied up in this one place, and now you don't have the flexibility, or you can't go use it for something else that might be a better investment long term.
Something that I was meeting with Mark Bailey a month ago, and he said something that was like really encouraging to me because I was talking about with like this new business that we're acquiring. We have to move into like a new warehouse to store everything, and I was telling him like, dude, I really don't want to like rent another warehouse. I want to own it. I want to own like the lot. And he was like, I was like, is there any way I could figure out to get financing so I can go buy a piece of property and like build my own warehouse, whatever. And he looked at me and he was like, Jeremy, he was like, no one, absolutely no one starts off owning. Like every single person, for the vast majority, like has to start out renting to build something. He's like, you'll get there just in time. And I felt like that was like simple advice, and like I've heard that, but I think it was well said. Like, yeah, no one starts off this way. Like, it's okay to have a season of building, And I think, I've been meeting with Mark a good amount. I think he's been a big reason why my mindset has kind of changed when it comes to like wanting to not buying a home right now. But I think he's right. Like there is a season to build, and then there's a season to kind of like more step into what you've built. And I feel like right now it's just a building season, and so for us it looks like renting. So
yeah. Well, here's another thing too. This is something I've always kind of been going back to recently, is that you have to think about the context that you're in right now, and the fact that we even live in San Diego, right? I think it's one of the top, maybe not top 10, but definitely like top 50 most expensive places to live in the world. It's like, okay, so given that fact, like maybe we shouldn't be so disheartened or discouraged about home prices or rent versus buy, or basically like how expensive it is to live here. But knowing that, it gives you some perspective about what you should do. But also I've been thinking about the time that we live in now. Even a couple hundred years ago, no one was really having a buy versus rent discussion. They were having a, where do I go build my house, and which plot of land do I go purchase and go build on? That's an entirely different. So like this whole buy versus rent is, it's also a different situation for us, because I wish that I could just go, oh, cool, that plot of land looks great over there. Like here's 15 talons or whatever it is. Now I'm going to spend the next year or 6 months building my own house. Like that'd be awesome. It would be like,
here's my youngest daughter.
Exactly. Though
I shouldn't laugh at that.
Okay, yeah, it's a little messed
I
up.
thought like the Bible.
We apologize. That's also,
it was a biblical reference. Okay.
Yes, but maybe not the best one. Maybe not the best biblical example. But like how sick would it be if we just go build something ourselves, and like all you have to pay for is like the cost of and like you would build it. Like you're not even paying someone to build it.
Dude, I was looking into buying land a couple months ago just to see, and it was like, even like out in Lakeside, like not like really super close, it was like 150 grand.
Yeah, it's
for a
crazy.
piece of dirt, dude. That needed like grading and plumbing and all that good stuff. I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
yeah,
it's insane. Like,
well, okay, so I've been telling you about it, but I've thought about the idea of buying rental properties, not in California, so in places like Alabama, Georgia, like maybe somewhere in like I think it's called like the Sunshine Belt, something like basically like the South. A house there with land could be like 100 grand, like a nice house.
That'd be like higher end, like yeah.
Look, way out in the boonies, just for the land in San Diego, it's going to cost you that much. An arm and a leg.
The person that we bought the business from, so she sold her company, and then her and her husband, he quit his job, and they're moving to Alabama. And they
are.
Yeah, and so part of like they found like their dream home out there is, I think it's a 12-bedroom, like
12.
It's like 11,000 square feet. It's a mansion, like one of those legit mansions. And I want to say it's like $325,000.
Oh my
like
gosh.
Insane.
Yeah.
And so it's just funny. So they sold their business, sold their house. They're moving. They're buying that, two other properties, two other homes, basically. So in like one block, they're gonna own 3 homes, and it's a total of, or 3 properties. It's a total of 18 buildings.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that insane?
That's crazy.
Because like that one big house is like I think it's one big building, and then the other 2 they bought have like multiple dwellings on the land.
Interesting.
I mean, and they probably got, I don't know, I'm guessing all that for like 600,000. Like just crazy to think about, like the difference.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure why that's relevant to what we're talking about, but
okay. Well, let's talk about it, because, and this is what I sort of brought to the table, but I want to talk about balancing ambition versus contentment. And okay, so a little bit of context. it's been something kind of like just in me wondering, like, is this okay? Like, is this normal? Basically, does anyone else feel like this, or like how should I even like approach this feeling of feeling not content with myself or where I'm at, or like kind of I think the troubling part for me is that it's mostly has to do with like material things, you know, like the place I live, the car that I own, like the number in my bank account, like just not feeling happy with that. And is that okay? Or should I be content, but maybe also not as motivated to improve those things? So to have a bigger house, or to save for a house, to have a nicer car, to, you know, to save and to have something to retire on someday. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I'm wondering, like, this ambition inside of me pushes me to do a lot of things that I wouldn't do if I was content, but also I feel discontent, which is like not like a great feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when I sorry, I thought you're gonna go more the direction of like being discontent, like with your career and like side projects, not so much like material stuff.
Well, we could talk about that too.
I'm sure it's both.
But let's start here.
I know it's both.
Yeah.
But I feel like the obvious answer is like, yeah. I mean, I would say that that is wrong. Well, not wrong, but it wouldn't be good for you to be motivated by like the your bank account or the materials or whatever it is. And I think the reason why is A, I think that's materialism, but B, I think when you get the thing that you wanted, it's not going to be what you thought. And I feel like it's kind of like that story we talked about, like with Leah, you know. And
Yeah.
I just feel like it's one of those things where you thought this would make you happy, then you get it, and then it's the next thing, right? So let's say you want you want 10 grand in your savings, you get that, then you're gonna want 20, then 30, then, it's gonna continue.
Right.
And but I think I don't think it's what you're asking, because I think you know the answer. You know, like, yes, it's probably wrong, but I think what you're saying is it's causing me to be motivated. It's causing me to be ambitious. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yes, but in another way, no, because if I'm truly content, then why would I ever want something else or better? Like, why wouldn't I stay, why wouldn't I be content with our 2001 Camry and our apartment in North Park or in Hillcrest that we rent, and the number in our bank account, which we could definitely not retire off of, definitely not even close. Like, I guess I feel like there has to be some ambition or some level of discontentment. You know what I mean? Like,
this is a super good question, because now I'm thinking like,
right? Because if you were perfectly content, why would you
want
ever?
more?
Why would you want something else or more, or something different?
Hmm.
So, is there a way to have both, to be ambitious and content? Because I think maybe I'm painting this in the wrong light. I'm super happy with like where we're at. In fact, this morning I was thinking, I'm like, this is so cool. Like, we have a great place that we live in. I'm married to my wife, who's amazing. We have a great life. We have our dog Remy, who's like just like the spark of joy everywhere he goes. I have a great job. Like, we're not struggling financially. Great friends. One in particular.
Shout out to Jeremy. What's up?
Not Jeremy. Other friend. Just kidding. But also feeling like I want more, and like I want an even better life. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think it makes good sense. I don't think you're alone in that. I feel like I need a minute to think what you're asking. But
yeah. Well, how do you feel?
Like about my situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I feel similar. Like, yeah, I feel very content and happy with what we have and where we are at right now. Do I want to advance? Yeah, absolutely. Like, I want like in every area, right? When it comes to the home, the apartment we live in now, or the business, or our relationship, me and Connie, and whatever it is. Like, every area I want to progress and advance, and I wouldn't say it's because I necessarily like want more and I'm discontent. I think a lot of what you're saying is just in us naturally as men. I think we were made to be this way. We were made to like want to move forward and to want to improve and to just simply progress in our life. I think it's a big reason why we both feel this way. Like, I guess it's kind of like, it feels like it's not enough. Like, we're missing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my initial thought.
Yeah. I want to go back a little bit to.
Well, I also want to say one more thing because
Okay,
I was talking
go
with
ahead.
Dan Dealing, kind of spontaneously, a few weeks ago, and I was just telling him like, dude, honestly, like recently, I have felt, and as of recently, I mean like the last year, I have felt like I like my level of like interest and like motivation to want to grow business wise, like with books and all that kind of stuff, is like skyrocketed. Right, I just feel like there's a
Right.
huge hunger to want to learn it in that area of my life. And if I'm being real with you, like in like on the spiritual side or like, I don't know, just more like relational side of things, like I feel like a lack of interest to want to learn in that area.
Yeah.
And I was telling Dan this, like, this is a problem, right? Like, shouldn't I want to be like to grow spiritually like more than I do like business wise? And he said, honestly, Jeremy, like for where you were at as like a young person, especially being like a younger entrepreneur and just being married, like that's very normal. It's very normal for you like in this season of life to want to like grow professionally. I think it's important to consider as well because a lot of what we're saying is like I think the season of life that we're in, we're
Yeah.
young, we're starting out,
Yeah.
and we're both trying to build something, and so that's why our thinking is more on like how can this improve, how can I get better, you know?
Yeah. That's a good segue because I sort of wanted to challenge the idea of like the grass is always greener on the other side because I feel like sometimes it is.
I'm
You know
so
what I mean?
glad you said that.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
Okay,
with
well, because here's what I was thinking. I think we mentioned it before, but there's this whole idea of it's going to get a little bit technical and nerdy here for a second, but
that.
this idea of hedonic adaptation, right? Where basically whatever you do or like whenever you advance, you then adapt to that new environment or circumstance, and then now it doesn't seem as amazing or great anymore. Now it seems normal. So basically, it's always like you always go back to the average. You always go back to the mean. You always go back to normal. But it's still better. But I was also thinking there was a study done. This is one I think that we mentioned before was that there's a certain point of like income and basically like way of living, cost of living, where people don't get any happier after that point. And I think the point was like $100,000 or like 90,000. I forget what it was. Maybe we should have looked up beforehand, but the number doesn't really matter actually. But I think my point is that at a certain point, it doesn't get any better, but maybe I'm not at that point yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like things probably could get better from where I'm at now, but I could also be aware that it's not going to get exponentially better after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I want to get to that point where it is better and kind of at the cusp of like it doesn't get any better after this, you know?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes down to we've talked about this before, like with money. Like I think it's good to be motivated by money, but I think like you think of like your motivations, right? There's not just like one thing, right? There's like multiple different factors that motivate you, and I think let's say there's three of them, right? If money is one of them, or you know these material things that you desire, like if that's a part of it, I think that's okay. But I think the issue is when that's like the only thing you're going for, like when you get there, like I said earlier, it's not going to be what you wanted.
Yeah.
And I think like for me, I think for myself, it's hard to believe that, if I'm being real. Like I think I feel like it might be what I think it is, right? Or it might be really cool, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's easy for me to say that because I hear that a lot. But you know, I have experienced that like in some areas of life. Like there's been things I've really wanted for a long, long time, and I've gotten it, and it's like, this is cool, but it's not what I thought it was going to be, you know? And so I think I can apply that to this. Like, if this is the one thing I'm going for, you know, this fancy car, whatever it is, or the better home, like, it's probably not going to be as cool as I think it is. And so I think with the whole idea of what you're saying, like being, like your discontentment bringing you more ambition, basically. I think we should use that. I think we should use like that discontentment, but I just think, it can't be like the only thing that motivates you, right? Like the ambition has to come like for more reasons than just the materials.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So it's not just material. Like let's take this podcast for example. We've grown steadily over time. We've been doing it for actually it's been about a year since we basically like committed to doing it.
That's a really good point.
And since we like
started
planning for it.
Yeah.
I think we started recording our first episodes in August.
Okay.
And then we published the first one September 30th. But so we've grown steadily. Like our audience is going up, right? The number of downloads, yada yada yada. But we're still not where like we want to be, right? We're not like Joe Rogan. Actually, I heard a stat really quick. So he has the single largest audience in the world. I didn't know this about like how successful it actually was, but through his podcast and basically all the other revenue streams around his podcast, he's on track to make $100 million this year.
What?
Right? And he's on a podcast
This year?
Yeah.
From podcast?
Yeah. But
I'm
okay, but not the
content where we're
podcast.
at, Corey.
From his
Just kidding.
from
That's
his
insane,
audience,
dude.
right? Okay. Anyways, back to the point. Right. So we get the number that we last shared. Right, was month of June or May was our biggest month ever. We got 1,000 downloads overall, which is amazing, right? But I would like to see 5,000, 10,000, 100,000.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, but that's also, I think, the downloads, the number of downloads is just a proxy. It's just kind of like a placeholder for what we really want, which is to reach a lot of young Christian men and is to help them and to encourage them. So like I think all the material things and stuff, that also is like just a proxy for like what I really want is to feel like safe and secure and to feel like I have a plan, something to fall back on.
Yeah.
To feel like, I have a retirement, something to leave with my kids. You know what I mean? But I think it translates to, or even let's take our marriages, for example. There's always things to work on. There's always ways that we can improve. There's always ways that our wives can improve. Like we can always love each other better. We can put God further in the center of our marriages. It's healthy maybe to have a little bit of discontentment with where you are, right? If you know that things could be better and you could be closer with your wife, why wouldn't you want to be, right?
Yeah, the more you're talking, the more I kind of feel like it's back to what we said in the beginning. Like I think it's just I think as men, as probably as humans in general, that it's in us to want better. I really think it comes down to that, and I think but I like how you're wording this. Like, is it okay that my discontentment is motivating me? I think it caused me to like really think about it. Like, I think you have a really good point. So.
Yeah. Well, it's something that I struggle with. I mean, that's
I
the realness of it.
I think I've just thought, I'm just like motivated. I haven't really thought about why, but now I'm thinking about it. I think a lot of it probably does come from like wanting more, and just wanting it to be better.
Yeah. So I think my question remains like, how do you balance, or like, what is the best, attitude towards it, Or like based on what you know about me or what we know about each other, like, is there something that I could be doing or keeping in mind? This even is like, how could I be doing things better? I guess I'm just wondering, like, is it, should I be feeling differently about it? I don't know. I think it does bother me a little bit to a certain degree. Like, I wish I could just wake up every day like, today's amazing. I'm just going to keep plugging away at everything that I do, and I'm perfectly content knowing that everything's going to be A-okay 30 years down the road, and my life's going to feel fulfilled.
For me, I've recently been having a hard time with that, like thinking like, okay, if I develop some good habits of, like waking up early or, reading often or working out, whatever it is, like the good habit that I develop, like, how do I keep that up for 30 years, 40 years, right? Or,
hard.
I've been thinking of that recently. Like, it's kind of like deflating, like, dude, like, or, working hard, whatever it is, just like, how do you keep that up? And, yeah, man, I've been having a really hard time with that recently. Like, how do I keep these good habits up? How do I like have like the perseverance that it takes, one thing Chris talked about was, developing habits and doing it consistently over time. I just feel like that
marathon
is hard
versus sprint.
Yeah, it is super hard. And I think, kind of like you're saying, like, well, what if like in these areas that, I want to persevere in, if I'm content where I'm at, like, why would I continue? Why would I want to get better at it? So yeah, honestly, dude, like your dilemma or question has me stumped a little bit too. Well, now I'm like really thinking about it, and I think it comes down to like what we just said. Like, I think the obvious answer is for the materialistic side of things. Like, yeah, obviously, like I think that was probably wrong, like to be motivated by like the wealth or whatever. But I think you consider like the whole picture, everything. I think it's good for discontentment to motivate you.
Yeah,
that's my overall thought on it.
Yeah. I think
you don't seem satisfied. You seem like itchy.
Well, I just wonder, well, you had me thinking too about the other areas, right? Because it's really not just the materialistic side of things. That was like my
Yeah, it's your
first
example. Yeah.
first example. Like let's talk about like careers,
Mm-hmm.
for example. I love my job at Barometrics. In fact, I've only been like working full time, for, I don't know, what's it been, 2 or 3 years or something. Already at an amazing place. I just wrote the article about how I landed my dream job at age 23, which is like fantastic. 24 now. But, but also like, I don't want to be the head of marketing for a software company forever. There's fantastic lessons that I'm learning. I love my job every day. It challenges me. There's amazing people that I get to meet and connect with. But also my end goal, or like, is it my end goal is to be a software entrepreneur, or just to be an entrepreneur in general of other things too, not just software. And so always feeling discontent a little bit about like, okay, one day this isn't going to be how it is. And one day I'm going to be, the entrepreneur and the owner. I'm not just going to be the operator and the executor.
That's a good point. I mean, dude, we like I said, we've been moving all week, and so like I now own like all this inventory of like just other stuff. And literally today, I was like moving stuff, and I had the thought to myself like, why am I doing this? Like I'm feeling pretty tired, and so I was just like, why am I doing all this? Why am I working so hard for this? And it was funny. That thought was silly because like this should be so exciting, and it is. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
I think like with anything, like there's gonna be like the negatives, and with anything you do, there's gonna be times of like feeling discontent. But one thing I was just thinking about was like the purpose behind it, like whatever it is that you're wanting to do, like I think if you just know the purpose, if you know like why you are motivated, I think that can carry you through and carry you on.
So the purpose of like what kind of purpose do you have that, I don't know, motivates you or keeps you content with your businesses? And I guess like what's your translation for me of like the purpose?
That's a good question. I think for me, like thinking of this business that I'm in right now, I think what I said earlier was like this becoming something like I'm viewing it as like a foundation, kind of like the first block in my life, really. This being something to basically create more opportunity, whether it's like for my family, like whether it's another idea that I have in the future that I want to pursue, like this funding that. I think that's part of it. I think creating jobs for people, and then like on the practical side, like creating actual events and weddings, what we do. I think those three things, like those are all like really cool, and those like will fulfill me, and that's purpose. And so I think for me, like that is my purpose in this. When I think why do I want this company to get bigger, why do I want to grow it, well, all those reasons, that's kind of a broad answer. I think for you, how does it translate? I think I'd be careful on like I've been hearing you a lot recently talk about like materials and stuff. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
Maybe it's just an example you're giving, but I think I would. You've never been that way. All that
Right.
you've been like the most basic, like by too simple, too plain. And so I don't know why I don't know if you are actually really motivated by those things now. Maybe you. I'm not saying that's bad. I would be careful. I would think about like what actually really motivates you. Is it like the nicer car? Is it the nicer place, or is it the lifestyle? Is it the fulfillment to know that you're doing what you want to do, which is being a software entrepreneur? I don't peg you as someone that's like motivated by the fancy car or the nice clothes or nice watch, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I just want to be clear. I don't hear you saying that's all that motivates you.
Right.
I know that there's way more to the picture. I just think recently you've been giving that stuff as an example.
Yeah.
I also want to say I find myself in the same boat. I don't know why, but recently I've been thinking about material stuff, and I've never been that way my whole life. I've never really cared about the car I drove or stuff like that. And like more recently, I feel like I've like wanted a lot of that stuff. So I don't know why that is. I'm trying to figure it out, but
yeah, I know. Well, that's something that I think that I've struggled with too. Is like, well, yeah, maybe I am like thinking about it or talking about it too much, or like maybe.
And I'm not saying that. I'm just
right. Well, I think actually, I mean, now that we talk about it more, I think about it. I think maybe what's even actually happening is that, like I said, those things are like, kind of the proxy for like what I really want.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so it seems like, okay, those are the things that I should go, like, these are the tangible things that I know I should go and like get, like, these are my goals. And then with those things will come the things that I really want, essentially. But I think you're right that even thinking about like those things in particular, the house, the car, the savings account, whatever it is, like that shouldn't really be like the main motivator. Maybe what should even be like go another layer deeper of it's security for my family, or it's being generous to other people. It's helping and enabling other entrepreneurs. It's I don't know, like the things that because really, like you said, I'm not really into nice things. I mean, look at what I'm wearing literally right now. I'm wearing my old Patagonia jacket.
Which I was thinking earlier, you wore that every Tuesday when we were recording. Every single time.
Okay, well, since I started working from home, I've been the laziest.
Oh,
actually,
I'm the exact same, bro.
Okay, so about like my probably like 7th grade was like my peak, like dorkiest as far as like material possessions, clothing, etc. And then kind of like went up slowly until probably like, I don't know, junior year of high school. And then after that, I think it's been like in a slow decline. And then since I started working from home, it's been like a steep drop. Just
dude, I'm the same, dude. Once I got married and we started working from home, like honestly, I can't remember the last time I did my hair. Like I just wore a hat every single day. I even got because normally it's like I get a haircut and then I'll do my hair for a couple weeks until my hair gets shaggy and long.
Yeah.
And I'll start throwing hats on. But dude, like I got a haircut like 2 weeks ago, and the next day I was wearing a hat just because I just don't want to bother with doing.
Yeah, not even worth it.
Just funny.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, if I really was motivated by nice things, I think that I would probably have nice things now. But I love our old Camry. I'm totally fine with wearing basically sweats, and I'm wearing my old Nikes with no socks. And yes, I would like nicer clothes, but I'm still not like. I really don't like the idea of a ginormous house. I would like a really sort of simple and like efficient house that's sort of like really high tech and stuff. That's like my that's the thing that I think about. And but anyways, I think you're right. And I think maybe what it comes down to is, and trying to talk myself through it, is tying, the things that I do every day to the purpose, and sort of, I guess, like, sounds cliche, but like learning to enjoy the journey of like, I can feel fulfilled and like achieve these things that I want before, I guess, like the material kind of reflection of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I can learn to be maybe more fulfilled every day, but still motivated for more. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll have to pray about it.
I think, I feel like this has been good. This has been one of my favorite talks we've done, honestly.
Therapy session?
Well, I mean, I feel like this was very spontaneous. Like, we normally have some form of notes, and we have literally nothing, and we're just talking. This really, and this is, it's like thought-provoking. It's making me think a lot.
Yeah.
From like the very beginning, because like I said, you kind of took a different direction than I thought. And from like the beginning, I was like lost for words, kind of like, I don't know, like, thinking about it. So I like it when that happens. So.
Yeah. Well, let's do more of this.
Yeah.
You want to wrap it up?
I think you can, because I'm sick,
I got you, dude. It's
I'll sit on
okay.
the bench,
you were struggling in the intro anyway, so
dude,
I'll take us out strong.
Honestly, that was probably bad for my throat to go.
Yeah. You're going to be more sick now.
It's chill.
Well, guys, thanks for listening. If you have any thoughts for us or for me or for Jeremy, please let us know. You can reach out to us via Instagram, email us at cultivateandkeep.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to reach out anytime. We'd love to chat. Otherwise, make sure to visit our cultivateandkeep.com/favorites page. Always update that with new resources. I'm going to add a couple more on there today. I think that I saw one that wasn't on there. But otherwise, we will talk to you in the next one.
Peace and love.
Peace.